Week number 1 of my budgeting project is in the books. Did I soar like an eagle or did I crash and burn? It's time to come clean. Welcome back to Ready Budget Go. On this channel, we talk about saving money, planning our spending, and achieving our financial goals. If that sounds like something you're interested in, please consider subscribing, hit the like button, and leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Today, I want to go over what happened with my budget last week, maybe stuff a savings challenge, and then talk about the plan for next week. So the first thing that I'll talk about is the monthly budget. There was one expense that should have come out last week, which was my Mac subscription, and it did renew, but I haven't gotten the bill yet from iTunes. So with iTunes, sometimes they wait a few days. So if you order something else or if you make another purchase, then they combine that all together into one transaction and send you one bill or one receipt. But that hasn't happened yet. So I'm not going to record it here, but it did renew. I'm just waiting on the bill. I'm going to come back to the wallet spending later and fill in what I actually spent last week. But I'm just going to go over the other two, essentially the trackers that I keep up to date every week. So the next one is the monthly cash flow tracker. Now, I didn't have anything go into or come out of my checking account this week, so this looks exactly the same as it did when I set up the budget in the last video. And if you haven't seen that, I'll link it down below. But no new transactions here, so nothing else to report. So then we move on to the expenses. And here I filled in everything that I spent this last week. Some of it I had already started on the last video when I was setting up the budget. Things like rent and utilities and my savings deposit and things like that. Those come out regularly on the first every month. So I already knew they were coming and I filled them in. I've also got some other expenses here that are going to be for the holidays. And so I have them recorded here, but I'm not categorizing them yet just because I'm not sure where they're going to go. So bringing back the monthly budget, there are things that are accounted for here in bills. And so I'm not taking those out of my weekly spending because they're already accounted for here. These two expenses here that are for the holidays, those might come out of my Black Friday stockpile, or they might be cash flow, or they might come out of weekly spending in another week. But for right now, it's to be determined. So I'm just leaving them there. But everything that came out of my weekly spending, I highlighted as something that needs to be accounted for. So let's add them up and let's see what happened. So I'm just going to total all of these. We had $6.04, $70.71, $5.51, $22.60, $16.08, $12.98, and $51.15 for a total of $185.07. Now, in my weekly spending, I give myself $100 in cash, and the other $100 I essentially leave in my bank account and I spend on credit cards, and then I repay that out of the bank account once a month or sometimes at the end of the week. It just depends. But in this case, I went way over. So this doesn't account for any cash spending. This is only things that went on a credit card. So I'm over by $85.07. I knew I was going to go over already, and I planned on taking that out of the cash that I have because I have a little bit of cash left, and we'll talk about that next. But I then went way over with getting a Lyft ride. I live in a really expensive part of the country, and so ride share is costly. I stayed up way too late on Tuesday night, so on Wednesday morning I took a ride share to work, and I live pretty far away from the office, so that was really expensive, and it's not something that I planned on doing, but that's just how it worked out. So we'll talk later about how I'm going to account for that and make up for that. But for now, I'm going to get out my cash bag and reconcile all the cash that I have left in my wallet, I guess, at the end of the week. So this is my own personal little bank bag, I guess, if you will. I try to go to the bank once every couple of weeks, maybe once every 3 weeks. And so I take out $100 per week that I'm accounting for in that trip. But I don't want to carry that much cash with me all the time. So I keep it in here, and I also put in here any singles that I get back as change. So I'm going to take out, let's see how much I have left over first, because there's a fair bit that I didn't spend in cash this week. So I have $20, $40, $65, $65. And that doesn't include all the ones, right? So the ones I'll talk about next. But the $65 I'm going to use to offset the $85 that I overspent. So really that brings my overspend down to $20. And for that, I am going to just plan for it next week. Like, I'm aware that I went over. I'm going to try to not spend $20 either in cash or out of my bank or on credit cards next week so I can recoup that. I'm not going to hold myself to too high of a standard on that. It's really tough to get your spending to line up exactly week over week. Sometimes expenses just kind of bunch up throughout the month, and that's okay. So the 65 I won't be taking out of the bank the next trip because I've already got it here. So essentially that's how the money gets back into the bank without having to me go and deposit this just to take it right back out again. And then for that other $20, we'll see where I end up next week, whether I'm going to take that out of additional cash or whether that's going to be something that's left over in the bank from money that I don't spend this coming week. So that's the 65. So I'm just going to stick that right back in here. And then I'm also going to take out the Letterbucks, or essentially the ones, and I'm going to put them in the Letterbucks challenge. I was surprised this week that I got only one L buck, because usually L's are the most common. I said this when I stuffed all of the Letterbucks that I had the first time. But this week that wasn't the case. I got a whole bunch of A's and B's and letters that you don't really expect to see here on the West Coast. L is out of San Francisco, so that's the one we see most often. But I got a couple of A's and quite a few B's. So let's stuff those next. Okay, so the first binder that I've got here is my A through F binder. And so I'm just going to stuff the ones that are in that category, which is almost all of them. This week it was a good week for A through F. So let's see what we've got here. So the A's, I have two A's. We'll see what's in here. Some of these I've started putting placeholders in. I've got placeholders coming, but there was a printing delay, so they won't be here for another couple of weeks. So I'm going to add 2, and I won't fill in the trackers. I'll do that off camera, but if you're interested in these trackers, they are available on my Etsy shop. The envelopes I did make myself. I don't have them on my Etsy shop just because it's a lot of weeding, but if someone's really interested in them, I'm happy to do them. All right, so let's count up the A's. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 A-bucks. That's quite a lot. Normally A's are rare here, but the last few weeks I've been getting quite a few of them. So put those in here. Can't wait to get those placeholders, get these into savings. And then B's, let's see how many we got. 1, 2, 3, 4 B-bucks. And again, I'll fill in the tracker later. But in B's, we have, let's see, add these in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 B-bucks. Again, a good amount, more than I would have expected. So it's B's, no C's this week, so we're going to move on to D's. And I've got 1, 2, 3, it looks like 3 D's. So we'll take these out, we'll add in the ones from this week. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 D-bucks. So that's off to a good start. The office pooch will be very happy. I'll get her some, I think she likes lamb lungs, which just give me the creeps, but she loves them, so she might be getting a special treat next time I go to the pet store. E-bucks, we've got 1 this week. Don't get a lot of E-bucks, so that's good to have another. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 after this week. And then F-bucks looks like just 1 of those. Yep, so 1 F-buck. Add those to what's already here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 F-bucks. And they don't want to cooperate. There we go. Okay, so that's binder number 1. We'll move on to binder number 2. And in binder number 2, I did put in some placeholders just because it was getting over full. Like I say, I get a lot of L's, and the L envelope was going to be huge if I didn't put in placeholders last week, so I did that. So I only have $2 going into this binder, and the first one is a ratty looking K. So we'll go to the K's here. So that's J. And so I put in a placeholder, actually 2 placeholders for 15, because again, this envelope is pretty full. I get a lot. K's is probably the second most common next to the L's. So now I've got 15 plus, let's see, well, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 23 in the K box. Those other Ks are going to be in the bank, but I'm still going to accumulate them for what they were intended for, which this is the kismet. So when you find something, you know how it is. You're in a store, you're not really particularly looking for anything, or you've got your list, but you find something that you just can't live without. That's what I'm using the K-Bucks for. And then again, one sorry lonely L going into the L box. I have quite a few of these, including a placeholder, so we'll add that. So there's 50 as a placeholder and 10 as a placeholder, so 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 69 L bucks. So not bad. And that is going toward my leather jacket, which I hope to have in the next couple of years. So that's all the Letterbucks. Let's talk about retirement savings next. So the next item that I want to talk about is a new item in my Etsy shop. It's a digital download, and it's a IRA savings challenge. It's called Sloth IRA, to rhyme with Roth IRA. But even if you're doing a traditional IRA, you can still use the same tracker. The limits are the same. It's a 2025 tracker, but it's the same limit for 2024 as it is for 2025. The IRS didn't make any changes this year. So whether you're contributing for 2024 or 2025, you can use this tracker. You get 2 with the digital download. One is $7,000, which is the normal IRA contribution limit. And the other is for folks 50 and over. Oops, it's over here. For folks 50 and over who are able to make another $1,000 catch-up contribution. So it's got an extra row of sloths. Each sloth is $100, so there's 70 for the normal one over here. There's 70 sloths, 80 on the catch-up page, and you get both with the digital download. So because I am not yet to my 50th birthday, I'm going to be using this one, and I'm going to mark off everything that I've saved so far through 2024. My goal is to fully fund my Roth IRA this year. You have until tax day of next year to do it, but I really want to get it done before the calendar year rolls over. So I'm going to mark off everything that I've contributed so far. And so far, I've saved $5,000 toward my Roth IRA. And the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to use this stamp over here, and I'm going to mark off 50 of the little sloths. So give me just a minute, and I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so that's all of them. And that was super satisfying. Not the neatest stamping job in the world, but I'm proud of how far I've come, and I'm almost to the end. So I'm looking forward to maxing out my IRA this year and hopefully being able to do the same next year. So the last thing that I want to do is just come back to the monthly budget and input my spending for the first week. So now that I've gone through everything else, I've gone through the expenses and I've reconciled everything, I want to come back here and input my actual spending. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's white out here because I just wrote in a number and I realized that that wasn't correct. So essentially what I need to do is I need to take out the $100 that I had in cash, and I had $100 from my bank that was available to spend on a credit card. So that was $200. But I didn't spend 65 of it. So I'm going to subtract 65, and that was 135 that I spent. Plus, then I was over by $85.07 in the bank account spending. So that gets added back in. 85.07. So $220.07, and that's correct. That means I'm $20 over, and that's the money that I need to find in the next week or the week after if I really end up sliding it over. So I'm going to write that in here, 220.07. And we'll see what happens next week. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to find that $20. It shouldn't be that hard. And if I can't, then it's a matter of, am I going to take it from cash flow? Am I going to maybe hold back some of the money that I'll put into my emergency fund after my next paycheck? We'll have to wait and see. I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today and for watching through the end of the video. If you're interested in the Sloth IRA or the Letterbucks or any of my other savings challenges, a link to my Etsy shop is down in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and leave me a comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, take care.